Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast. Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk improvised weapons. Kevin, what do you got?
Chuck, do you even know what an improvised weapon is?
Well, when we talked about doing this, I went on the YouTube.
Okay.
And I typed in improvised weapons. And this video came up, and this guy's like, I got 10 improvised weapons. And every one he bought out of a catalog. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're not improvising if you're buying a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work at all.
Right.
So he's like, I have this security umbrella with a big like ball at the end that he's going to use as a club.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but yeah, you bought that. You didn't improvise. You bought a weapon. You're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're walking down the street and you just use your umbrella as a weapon, then it's an improvised weapon.
Right.
But not so much when you're...
Yeah, I saw a lot of improvised weapons for sale.
For sale.
For sale.
So tell me, what'd you come up? What is an improvised weapon?
All right. Well, an improvised weapon really is basically anything that you use as a weapon. But they're good versions. They're better versions than others. You know what I mean? So ideally, you want something that you can acquire on short notice, whether it's when somebody's coming into your house,
or something you can acquire in prison,
or there you go. You go. It shouldn't be viewed as a weapon. You should be able to get into a baseball game with these types of weapons.
Get on an airplane.
If it's easily, well, we'll talk about that.
Uh-huh.
But if it's easily viewed as a weapon, then the person attacking you might change their approach. They might plan for that,
Okay.
Plan for countering it. And it should be strong enough for its purpose. You know what I mean? If
I like that.
You hit somebody with something and it breaks immediately, then you're out of luck, and you should be able to use it quickly. Now, the idea with an improvised weapon is that it's going to equalize the fight. So, I see a lot of people say, put your car keys between your knuckles, and use that to punch. But really,
the roll
the
of
truth
dimes
is,
you keep in your pocket.
Well, and that's
I'm
legitimately,
giving away your best tips. Okay,
but I'm gonna talk first about stupid things.
Okay.
If you get your keys in between your knuckles and you punch somebody, you got a good chance that you're gonna cut them up, but you're not gonna make them stop.
It's not a fight ender.
It's not a fight ender, and you have a good chance of whoever this creep is that you're hitting with your car keys. You're gonna cut up your own hand and cut up their hand, and all that creepy blood is gonna mingle into your wounds. It's not necessarily what you want to trade blood with somebody that's.
No, you
that's
could have been
attacking you
out
in
with a
parking
prostitute and at least had a better time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You could have let him rape you, and you wouldn't have bloody knuckles.
Oh no!
Bloody palm, or however you're holding your keys.
Disturbing.
Now there are car keys that you can buy specifically for, like key fobs and key chains and things like that you can buy specifically for this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, your car keys, and you're going to punch them, and the blunt end of your keys are going to jab into your palms.
Okay.
So, ideally a weapon is going to be something that gives you a serious advantage, not just like evening things out, right? So let's talk quickly about like the early Stone Age weapons that humans first started using. Kelp it's basically like a Stone Age axe, Stone or Bronze Age axe.
All right.
It was originally used for tilling fields and cutting trees, but would be used as a weapon in hand-to-hand combat. You weren't hunting with it, but ultimately that was turned into the battle axe. An atlatl. Do you know what an atlatl is? It's basically a stick with a groove in it, and it's got a knot, like a hook on one end, and you'd use it to launch a spear. Now, they've been using that since, they said 18,000 BC is the earliest ones they've been able to find.
Wow.
And you can have a range of 270 feet with an atlatl if you know how to use it. Now, we're going to talk a lot about different types of weapons. They're not very useful if you don't know how to use it.
I think that's right.
There's a, like a sling.
Yes.
Shepherd's sling, like David and Goliath.
I had David and Goliath in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's the thing. Like, super easy to improvise.
Mm-hmm.
Great, improvised weapon. It kind of is the epitome of something you could do, but it's something that's going to take time to master and become a skill. This is something, if you're going to be even slingshot guy, we were just talking last week or whatever about the guy. I mean, you and me were talking, not our whole audience, but about, the guy shooting the pigeons with the beans or whatever with his slingshot.
Right.
And the guy's just bang, knock a rat in the head and, you're killing it. Great. You're eating squirrel for dinner. But you and me aren't going to pick up a slingshot and knock a rat in the head in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
It's probably going to take a month or so of, serious training.
Right, exactly.
Same thing. If you want to kill a 9-foot giant named Goliath, you're going to have to put some time in.
Yeah, you got to know how to do it. And
you got to go down in the river, pick out the three finest stones or whatever.
Stones, yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to realize you got to put some effort in.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys used clay balls because they could shape them perfectly spherical.
Oh, nice.
And later they even used little pieces of lead.
I used the balls of my enemies.
Yes. Uh-huh. All right, now...
that was not right?
No,
okay.
that leads right into the next one.
All right.
The Fijian Kalikula. And it's basically a wooden club with sawtooth blade. The Fijian warriors used different types of wood and decorated them with the teeth of their fallen enemies. That's legit, man. Knock somebody's teeth out, and that becomes incorporated in your weapon afterwards.
That only sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, there's a lot of like crab claws and a lot of the shellfish.
Mm-hmm.
Their claws are just like razor sharp. I feel like that could really work in if I'm making some kind of battle axe, if you will, but if I don't have metal tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bone's good, but I gotta say, some claws and teeth in out there, there's some great options that really... I know whenever I'm cleaning out dishwashers and I grab in and grab a freaking crab claw and my hand comes out like a bloody freaking... Then, I don't know. It's happened more than once.
More than one time this has happened?
Maybe that's kind of a thing.
That's not bad. Now, the bola is another old one. It's basically round weights attached to a cord, usually 3 of them on different cords. And you would throw them, and you're not going to disable, or you're not going to kill something with it, but you're going to basically wrap it up. Charles Darwin said... The party endeavors to get close and as possible to the herd. Each man carries 4 or 5 pair of these bolas. That was describing gauchos hunting wild cattle.
Okay.
Now, the idea would be that you would wrap the animal up so it couldn't escape and you could sedate it.
You trip it up. Yeah. Same thing. I mean, learning a lasso and really understanding that.
Right. Now, let's talk about some... smuggling onto airplane weapons.
And we're not obviously smuggling them onto an airplane. We're just talking about how things we might utilize if we encountered a terrorist on an airplane. It would be convenient if we had these items.
Right. Or something that you could carry on your person if you were in a place with high security and you felt like it might be dangerous.
You know, I actually just bought this week, and I swear it was before we talked about this. But, so it was about a week and a half ago. And I ordered ceramic knives. And it's like a little folder, and it's small. And I feel like it'll break if I put any real side-to-side pressure on it. But as far as the straight edge,
sharp,
pretty great cutter.
Yeah. It's a little bit more brittle than metal is, though, huh?
A little more brittle, yes.
All right, let's talk about the Millwall brick. Millwall was a football club from South London, and F Troop was the most famous of the hooligan groups there. Famous for rioting, fighting, and starting fires. Just all around good guys, you know? The idea is that you would take a newspaper, lay it out flat so it's long.
All right.
And then roll it up really tight, you know, the short way so you keep the length.
All right.
Then you fold it over, and that fold is going to make a nice size knot. And you can use that as a club, thumping people or, you know, jabbing. But what you would really want to do to get maximum effect is put a battery in the end of it, underneath the fold, and then wrap it up in a little bit of duct tape. And then you can really thump the shit out of somebody. So, I mean, that's really basic stuff. You could use a rock. You could use, I mean, anything that's heavy and hard.
I gotta say,
in the end there,
if you have a little planning time, oak really is an amazing thing. It turns out we're not allowed to have nunchucks in New York. That's a thing.
Yeah, they're commies out here.
And so they sell. You can buy the chain with the two little caps, and you can buy the sticks in New York City. You just can't buy it all together. I'm not really sure how that works. But my experience has been, obviously, when I took these items outside of New York, oak, and you just smack yourself in the head, it really hurts.
Yeah, good little piece of oak, man.
The
really
harder woods, they really can do some damage. So I'm just saying, you know, if you're looking for a club, if you actually think about the wood that you're using, and it really makes a difference.
Right.
The hard woods really make a weapon a little more serious.
Yeah, I have a big black oak in my my front yard, so I usually snag anything that comes down out of it. Let's talk about fire bombs.
Oh, sure. Who hasn't seen that?
Molotov cocktails.
All right.
Now, I thought it was pretty interesting. Molotov cocktails were originally named after the Soviet foreign minister Vyacheslav Molotov by the Finns. Now, when they were being bombed by the Russians, firebombed by the Russians.
Yes.
They said he said that those were airdrops for aid, you know, food and things. They weren't actually bombs.
Oh.
So they call them Molotov's bread drops, the bombs. And then if you needed something to chase down that bread, then you can have a Molotov cocktail. And that's what they developed to attack the Soviet tanks. Because you heat those tanks up enough, people aren't going to be able to stay inside of them. It's just too hot. That metal conducts the heat and holds it for a long time. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to make a Molotov cocktail. I am going to say do it with adult supervision. And by adult, I don't mean you. I mean, because if you're willing to make a Molotov cocktail, you're
might
not
not be an adult.
Yeah, it's really a bad idea. I'd say the safest way to do it is to make one, set it down, light it on fire, and then shoot it with a gun.
Okay.
That's going to keep it from blowing up in your hand. You think you're just going to light it and throw it, without that gasoline getting all over your hand and lighting your arm on fire.
A little secret of the pros, a cork.
All right.
Let me tell you about, you got the rag in the jar there.
Mm-hmm.
You put a cork in there to separate so it's not exposed to the rest of the liquid.
There you go.
Until it breaks.
All right. I like it.
Just saying, little secret of the pros right there. Not trying to start a revolution. I'm just trying to help you out with your revolution.
Right. Whatever your revolution may be.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I like that. I had a lot of things. Like I said, when I mentioned the slingshots, learning to actually throw things. So there's knives, learning how to really throw knives.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about axes and different things you can make and whatever. If you really learn to use them properly,
mm-hmm.
You see these videos of people with playing cards,
mm-hmm.
and they'll have, the cards and they'll cut people when they're
mm-hmm.
whipping them at their face or whatever. Learn to master something.
Mm-hmm.
Put a little time in.
Yep. And even if all you have is rocks, if you can throw them well,
yeah,
that's gonna go a long way.
That's gonna go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to be said for learning the art of aiming and throwing.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about shivs and shanks real quick?
Tell me about shivs and shanks.
Now, when we're talking about improvised weapons,
that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
It's something you can make just out of just about anything. Toothbrushes and even a pen can be a good shank. Now, most shanks,
I can't help but think of Joe Pesci in the movie Casino.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't know.
Now, most of the time, shivs.
I don't
want to
let people sign a paper on my back. Is all I'm saying.
That was Running Man, right?
I thought it was Joe Pesci did that. No?
Well, it could have been both.
Okay, maybe it was both. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. Well, shivs and shanks, they're not generally edged weapons. They're stabbing weapons.
Okay.
It's not for cutting.
Puncturing.
There you go.
Toothbrushes.
Well, you can use just about anything. Anything that you can sharpen into a, toothbrushes are good because they're plastic and they're real easy to sharpen up on concrete. But I want to talk next about chain lock, also called a smiley. Now, chain lock it's basically what it sounds like. It's a padlock on a chain.
Kind of like soap in a sock?
Yeah, but it's basically the same thing. Anything can be a smiley. Rope with a claw or a cloth with a weight on the end.
Right.
That's basically what it is. Fill a sock up with gravel, or pennies. Anything like that. Obviously, sporting goods equipment is great for that. Baseball bats and cricket bats and that sort of stuff. Have you ever heard of a shillelagh?
A shillelagh.
Shillelagh? I heard
shillelagh. All right. Tell me.
Shillelagh it's basically a walking stick.
Yeah.
With a knob on the end.
Yeah.
Used in Irish stick fighting. There's a whole
it's a shillelagh
thing about it. It's battery ashti is the name of the fighting style. It's basically an Irish stick fighting, and I watched some of them do it.
All right.
And it's basically just beating people with sticks, So I'm sure there's an art to it. But
sounds right.
If I fought another person that was practiced in it, I might get whooped up. But if you're fighting somebody and all you have is walking stick and you have some basic knowledge of how to use it, that's a lot better off than using your umbrella.
Yeah, a lot of the kung fu and the stuff from back in the day came from farmers.
Right.
The Shaolin guys all have it's all like gardening tools and whatever, like size. Or where it's like that 3-prong fork. Is it Michelangelo with the Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes, the Ninja Turtles.
Right. So the idea was
Raphael
was the size,
was the nunchucks,
the stick, or nunchucks.
Yeah.
All right. So Leonardo was the staff. All right. But a lot of these, the size were used for planning and they would poke it in the ground for the, seeds. The staff actually came a lot from the hoe that people used to use and use for gardening. But that's it. I mean, that's the foundation of improvised fighting because it's the common man. We live in a world right now, when I read the Second Amendment, right? And I know we're kind of getting off task, but I'm going to bring it back around here. So work with me. All right. So a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Now, that's a thing that people don't realize. I mean, you could definitely make an argument that we don't live in a free state anymore, that we're kind of controlled by laws and government to such a ridiculous extent. But they talk about, these laws I keep hearing right now. There's a House bill that would ban the purchase of gun parts and home, gunsmithing, putting together your AR-15s like I like to do. I've mentioned to you guys a lot about how, it's great that we're able, we have the freedom to put together different guns and do different setups, and I actually enjoy it. It's a cool skill and thing like that. But when you start taking away those rights, people are left with only the tools that they have. And that's how it was in China, is these people were so limited in what they could have that, it's like, well, I'm out in the field with a stick and with size and, these different things. That's where this stuff comes from.
Yeah, a lot of the martial arts weapons training was really developed on how to use things you had on hand to defeat, better armed opponents.
Right. And that's the thing of keeping a free state, Some things are worth fighting for. But just being able to utilize and actually use your brain a little bit. And that's, we're kind of hoping to inspire some thoughts, with...
Yeah, and, with any of these things, it's important to kind of look up how to use it, because there are some really basic skills. Even using your hoe as a bow staff with some basic YouTubing, you can really figure out how to make it use it properly. You belts, rocks, locks, bones, like I talked about. You can just really sharpen them into great things. Once you do get a kill of an animal or something. Yeah. There's things, even like mastering things like your bow and arrow and things like that. Really, learn to use your weapons. Use your guns. Learn how to really master them. I know I talk a lot about AR-15s and whatever, and I always thought 1,000 rounds is a lot of bullets. But if you go out and play with your gun, I can easily burn through 200 rounds in a very short afternoon. Very short. And you're like, oh, that's gone, I sight in a gun, and I know, sure, I could do it in 5 rounds. But, precision. How are you going to really...
And, I don't even want to, rest it on something. I'm, freehanding it and whatever. And it takes me 100 rounds till I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's where it needs to be every time. But that's the thing. You'll burn through some ammo. I had a friend, because obviously I wouldn't do this because I'm not crazy, but a friend maybe over this weekend or week or whatever, the other day, 2 days ago, a friend of mine maybe dropped $400 on 1,000 rounds of armor-piercing AR ammo. Because you never know.
You never know.
You never know. And I'm like, whoa, that might be crazy. But
yeah, because if you do a show where you talk about, buying 400 rounds of armor-piercing ammo.
No, $400 worth.
$400 worth.
1,000 rounds.
It might be something that would prompt, the ATF to show up at your house, and they're going to be wearing armor.
And I'm exactly.
So, you got to be prepared for these things.
You got to be prepared. So, I was like, dude, you're crazy.
Whoever this is.
Whoever that is. But I'm just saying, you could go through that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to realize, whatever it is that you decide, is maybe the right path for you, it should be common, available, readily available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And, being a master handgun guy, but not carrying a handgun isn't going to help you.
Right.
Being a master AR-15 guy, but not having one that you're going to have access to, not really relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You need to really use the skills of what's going to be available to you in your day-to-day. And that's kind of the deal with improvised weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You just really need to be able to look around, see what's available to you, and learn how to really use the different tools and apply them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a couple more here.
All right. What else?
Through?
Like what type of weapons? What do you think?
Well, one is blackjack, and that's not necessarily an improvised weapon. You can put one together, but it is easily concealable. That's basically a sap. It's like a leather thong with a lead weight at the end.
Okay.
Really easy to do some damage. The cops stopped carrying these because of police brutality concerns.
Mental illness became a thing because we don't use the word retarded anymore.
When they did use them, they were always instructed to hit like meaty muscle areas. Because if you hit somebody in the bone with that, you're going to break the bone. You have a good chance of cracking somebody's skull if you hit them on the head.
Yeah.
Easy to knock them unconscious, but it's just as easy to kill somebody by doing that.
Yeah, it happens.
Now let's talk about brass knuckles.
Tell me about brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles are
not something we have in New York State.
Right. They're not technically legal in most areas.
Okay.
Now, you can have paperweights. State by state, it varies quite a bit whether you can carry these paperweights in your pocket.
No.
But a lot of things can be brass knuckles.
Tell me about that.
So let's talk about, they've got those locking carabiners. You just want to have one that's fist-sized.
See a lot of the bikers like the 5 or 6 rings.
Yes, those big, bulky metal rings.
That seems to be, it's a fashion accessory.
I saw one that was pretty dope. It was a metal file, bent into like a C shape, and then where the mouth met, they had wrapped a cloth around it and then taped it, so the file. The one side was in your palm and the other side was on the outside of your knuckles.
I feel like I wouldn't want to get blasted in the face with that.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that looks nasty." I had to look into it and figure out exactly.
Sounds a little rough.
Yep. A padlock can work as brass knuckles, or brass knuckle. Large washers or nuts that you can slide over your fingers. Even a wristwatch, if you have a decent one, that you can, slide over your knuckles.
I've heard of that.
Now, if you get into a fist fight and you're not used to punching things, you got a good chance on breaking your hand. Brass knuckles will help protect your knuckles as well as
sounds like a win. I
pushing
think I'm
in
going to go out
somebody's
and buy
face.
5 rings.
But if you don't,
maybe Skulls and Death on there.
Yeah. If you don't know how to punch somebody,
I guess 4 rings because my thumb really would be dumb.
Yeah. You just want 4, right?
All right,
or just one really dope Joe Pesci pinky ring. Another great way to aid in a fist fight is fist loads. That's it's basically like a roll of dimes, roll of pennies, like we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Now the trick is basically what it does, it adds weight to your swing, and it also adds structure to your hand, so you're less likely to break your hand. Now, what you want to do though is kind of gauge. You want to be able to close your hand all the way around it. So you could even use a lighter, something that will just harden up your hand and the structure will maintain itself and you won't break your fingers, but you'll break somebody's face.
I feel like in the apocalypse, I want to make some kind of like leather glove that's like wrapped in barbed wire.
Well, I mean, that seems legit, right?
Right?
I think that's pretty cool.
I don't know why I wouldn't.
Do you remember I think it was Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The glass?
And they smash up the glass and the glue on the gloves.
Yeah.
And dip it in the broken glass.
That seems right.
That was legit, man.
I don't know why you wouldn't be into something like that.
Now, I was looking into strangling people.
Who hasn't looked into that?
Why wouldn't you, right? Now, there's a lot of different, it's called, a garrote is basically what you would make. Basically, that's 2 handles, 2 wood handles with a wire in between it. You can do this just by using electrical wire, wrap it up around 2 wooden pegs, and slide it over somebody's neck.
Now, when the mob does it, the people are always like dangling and their feet are kicking. And...
Yeah. You want to have good body weight, to back it up and pull them back.
Sounds smart.
Now, there's a group called the Thuggee Cult, which is from India. Where they came from, nobody really knows. Mm-hmm. Been around about 450 years.
And where they're going, nobody knows.
The word thug actually comes from this cult.
All right.
And their jam was they would get a scarf and tie a big knot in the middle of it. And then when they slipped it over around your head and over your neck, they would the knot would crush your larynx so you couldn't scream. And so immediately it would be like a good way to take out sentries and things like that. That's how they did it, because they're basically thieves is what their jam was. So now another important another idea with this garroting is a lot of the guys, a lot of the special forces manuals recommend doing a loop, like a double loop. So if somebody gets their hand underneath one of the loops and pulls it, it's actually tightening the other loop. So it's not really easy to get out of it. Now, I was looking at Krav Maga, and they're talking about how to keep from getting strangled when somebody slips something over your neck. The idea is that you want to push your head back into the person behind you, arch your back, and then roll around so that the loop is around the other side of your neck, along the back of your neck, and then you're supposed to punch him in the dick. That's what the Krav Maga said.
I didn't see that coming.
Now, but if you do the double loop, it doesn't matter what they do; they're not going to be able to get out of it.
Because when the loop's in the back, the loop's in the front.
That's right. The only problem is that getting a double loop around somebody's head, they're really going to have to be distracted and not paying attention. You can't just come over and just slide it over their head and then start tightening it if they're paying attention. So, that's just something to keep in mind if you ever have to strangle somebody to death.
All right.
You can use zip ties. They're great for it, piano wire, that's like the standard fare. Guitar string, and even heavyweight fishing line. Now
those definitely fall into improvised weapons, but I had no idea we were going to turn into a strangle fest.
Yeah. Oh man, it goes deep. It goes deep. If you ever want to learn about strangling people, the internet is a treasure trove.
All right.
The last thing I got on my list is flashlight. Flashlight is something that you can carry that's not necessarily a weapon. It's useful, has a lot of uses. But if you've got a big one, like the mag lights,
right?
They're usually pretty stocky. Now, the mini mag lights, we were talking about fist loads.
Yeah.
Mini mag lights would be good for that as well.
Nice.
So, it's pretty straightforward with a lot of this stuff. But, again, if you don't know how to use these things, they're not useful. You might end up just getting your weapon taken away from you and beaten to death with it. The idea of most of these weapons is a unexpected, vicious attack. If you're going to fight somebody with a gun, you don't want them to be prepared to get hit with a millwall brick when they're looking at you, Devastating blow immediately. Vicious and violent, as violent as possible, as quickly as possible.
I think we all learned that watching The Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right.
Yep.
Seem to remember they were all like a bunch of union guys sitting in Jersey under a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
They're all sitting around, and the guy says something wrong and offends him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, it's okay.
It's all right. It was just a joke.
It was just a joke. I'm all right. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then, bam, Snapple bottle in the face.
Snapple bottle in the face. That's right.
And then just,
And everybody thought that shit was hilarious.
I just, you know, you got to watch out for that kind of shit.
Uh-huh.
And that's the kind of thing, you know.
Yep. Don't show up to a gunfight with a knife, but don't show up to a fist fight with your fists either. Also a bad idea.
Oh, that's wrong. I don't know.
Now, do you got anything else you wanna talk about here?
Well, you know, the last thing I would say about improvised weapons, there's something called asymmetrical warfare.
Right.
They talk about it in the military. And what that typically means is cheating.
Cheating.
So this would be your kind of thing like when you see, oh, there's some roadkill. Let me cut its stomach open and throw it in the creek upriver from where you guys are all drinking and hanging out. And then tomorrow everybody in your camp is diarrhea and not happy. That's the kind of thing that, you know, improvised weapons. You know, so realize that there's lots of different ways you can look and take these things. Don't be afraid to think outside the box.
That's right.
You know, you gotta, you know, Kevin's willing to strangle people. They call him the Strangler.
Now,
now, nobody's ever actually called him that.
Let me just say, though, if you're in a fight, strangling somebody isn't the way to go.
No.
You want to start and end the fight by strangling. You don't want to, you know, be mid-fist fight and be like, oh, wait a minute, I got this piece of wire here. It's not how it works. So, you know, strangling is just for shits and giggles, you know? Just to have some fun strangling people, you know, not to defend yourself. But, sorry, as you were saying.
No, that's what I got. Yeah, just, you know, stay alert out there is what I would tell you guys.
Yep. And carry a telescoping baton because it's a lot better than most of the weapons we've talked about.
Yeah, you like that little switch action?
Yep.
All right. You know, stay heavy.
Yeah.
That's what I can tell you.
All right.
With that, actually, you know what? Speaking of carrying great weapons, there's you know about Tac Pack.
Yes.
And Christmas is coming up. And I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys out there, maybe even some girls out there, who would love to get a gift box every month. Could you imagine every month?
Monthly.
A new package arriving to your house with just awesome things. And you have to admit, we've gotten some pretty cool knives from Tac Pack. And every month, new knives. There's almost a knife every month. Almost.
And I've used a lot of them, actually. They've all been pretty good.
I think you
could
average too, 12 knives a year. A lot of other stuff to make your AR-15s better. Other stuff.
Like, well, it's got we got a shirt last time. There was some knife sharpening tool in there. There's a lot of great stuff in there.
A lot of great stuff. So I'm just saying, the holidays are approaching.
You're wanted to send Kevin or Chuck.
What do you want to get Kevin and Chuck? Maybe they need a subscription at Tac Pack. Maybe you have that special someone out there. Your little lady out there is like, no, I don't think they like to be called little lady.
Some of them do.
No.
Some of them like to be called mother, which is weird, Mike Pence.
That is weird. And maybe she needs a little AR pick me up once a month. You know, you could probably time it to arrive.
Don't say it. Don't say
it. Now that sounds like I'm courting danger there. All right. Maybe your special guy needs a package that would get him out of the house once a month. That, you know, he might be like, you know, I'm going to go to the gun range. I'm just saying that might be a thing. Well, if you get a subscription to Tac Pack, I feel like we may have done more damage than good on this one. But they will actually send a free gun cleaning mat along with your first order. Actually, I think it comes separately at the same time, maybe. I don't know. But you can check them out at tacpack.com. Use the code BADASS. Will get you that free gun cleaning mat.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, leave us a review on iTunes. Maybe check us out on Patreon. Share the love.
Yeah, we definitely could use some iTunes reviews.
Kevin likes reading those. They make him happy.
They do make. Most of them are mildly insulting and funny, which I appreciate. But you could also just say nice things.
You don't have to be insulting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, hit us up on Patreon. Email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com.
You have some concerns or things you want to hear about?
Mm-hmm.
New show ideas, things you want to learn? Kevin said he might get into gutting deers or something like that.
Right.
Said it's that season is upon us.
Yeah, I think we might be doing a show on root cellars in
Root
the near
cellars.
future here.
A lot of good things to come. And
right. Big ideas.
Big ideas. LPOP, you know what that is?
No.
I'll say there's a lot of things to come.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.